U.S. Deputy Secretary of State of the Bureau of Democracy, Human Rights and Labor, Jane Zimmerman, states that as the oldest democracy in South Asia, Sri Lanka should work towards expanding the space for civil society and ensure free expression in the media in improving the human rights situation in the country. Deputy Assistant Secretary Jane Zimmerman made this statement during an exclusive interview with News First Mahina Bongso in Washington, D.C.
The government of Sri Lanka is facing challenges with regard to commitments to human rights and the democratic principles. From your American foreign policy perspective, what are the primary impediments to greater guarantees of human and civil rights in Sri Lanka?
There's been a lot of progress since the conflict ended, and I think it's important to note what has been achieved, but also, as you noted, to see what kind of impediments exist and what more can be done. There is more work that needs to be done, particularly expanding the space for civil society, for journalists such as yourself, and for free expression in media. Making sure that there's free and open access to the internet, for example. Making sure that journalists can go out there and get the stories, ask the hard questions, and show the public what's going on and be able to report freely and fairly without any interference. So those are among some of the things which could be done to improve the human rights situation. Also, we'd like to see the elections in the north moved up sooner. We'd like to see, I think along with other members of the international community, a reduced role for the military in what is normally a civilian sphere. There's so much potential to do even more in Sri Lanka because of its long history and traditions as the oldest democracy in South Asia.
The next United Nations Periodic Review will be held in November, and Sri Lanka will be in the spotlight because the next UN Periodic Review will be on Sri Lanka. What sort of role will the United States play during this periodic review?
Like others during the periodic review, the United States will be looking at the government's update on progress since the last periodic review in 2008. We'll be looking at the recommendations which were adopted and approved back in 2008, what the implementation has been since then, as well as assessing the current situation and what has happened since 2008. Again, I believe that Sri Lanka has the capacity to implement the lessons learned, to implement measures under its own action plan, but we need to see that kind of tangible, demonstrable progress, the actual steps taking place. Implementation is key.
Well, one person has died and several others injured in a WASP attack in Dick-Oy Hatton. Our correspondent noted that WASPs had attacked a group of persons walking on a road close to where labourers were plucking tea leaves. The individual who died in the attack has been identified as 38-year-old Ramasamy Arumugan, who lived in the upper area of Darawala estate. The post-mortem examination will be held tomorrow. A woman who was plucking tea leaves and 4 others were also injured in the incident. Our correspondent noted that 4 of those injured are receiving treatment at the Dick-Oy hospital.
Staying in local news, UNP parliamentarian Sujiva Senasinghe inspected the houses situated in the vicinity of the garbage dump in Meethotamulla Kolonnawa today.
Sujiva Senasinghe met the residents whose houses have been affected by the garbage dump and inquired about their grievances. If a development program is taking place, we will support it, but it should be a proper development project. The government should give these people an alternative place to live. Minister Vimal Weerawansa says that some of these houses are illegal constructions. There are 7 or 8 of them. The other houses have been given by the housing authority. The people living in those houses have also been told to vacate. They don't need to vacate because their houses have already been destroyed. He is living in luxury. He should think about the well-being of these people. He should not forget the past.
Minister of State Management Reforms Navin Dissanayake says that if the government can achieve its goals, Sri Lanka can emerge as a second world country through the state service. He expressed this view at a workshop held in Kalutara today.
This workshop was held in Waskaduwa, Kalutara, with the objective of improving productivity of the state service through meaningful reform. The workshop was held under the auspices of the Minister of State Management Reforms Navin Dissanayake. The three words, Ceylon Civil Service, denoted the best state service in Asia. We should ask ourselves today whether we can call ourselves that. Where is our state service today? Does it command that same respect? If we can give an honest answer to that, we can move far ahead. We are still between the third and second. I think if the goals of the president and the government can be achieved, we can be a second world country within the next 10 years.
I need 40,000 rupees a month for my two children's schooling alone, so I find this money through deals on the side. Following this statement made by a medical laboratory technician attached to the Colombo National Hospital, the main trade union in this service asked the Minister of Health the very next day to conduct an investigation into the matter. The letter containing this request states that it should be established as to what sort of dealings, with whom and for how long the person in question had been referring to. Nevertheless, the Ministry of Health has not seen it fit to conduct an investigation in accordance with this request. This inaction could be considered as condoning the improper raising for money by any person within the health service. The revelation we make today regarding the action of a medical lab technician attached to the Hettipola Divisional Hospital could be seen as a result of this condoning. This technician was working at his own private laboratory this morning, even though he has reported to work at the Hettipola Divisional Hospital according to the signature placed on the attendance log. Up to the time he was captured by our camera, this technician had conducted 24 blood and urine sample tests at his private laboratory, in accordance with recommendations made by doctors providing treatment at the Hettipola Divisional Hospital. When we came here, they asked us to get the blood test done externally. This cost about 300 rupees. It is very difficult for poor people to spend 300 to 400 rupees. Therefore, we asked the Minister of Health to grant these poor people the opportunity to get their blood and urine checked at the hospital free of charge. If the district medical officer is truly unaware that an employee under his supervision is reporting to work in name only and conducting analysis externally for tests recommended even by him, then his supervision should be subjected to an investigation. Doesn't this incident show the dire need to take action against persons who rob patients in broad daylight regardless of their position or status? Director of Health Services in the North-Western Province, this one is over to you.
Welcome back to the news. Two school students were injured in a motor accident that took place along the high-level road in Moraketiya, Pannipitia. The police media spokesperson's office stated that a backup vehicle of the Special Task Force providing security to a minister had collided with a motorcycle.
The motorcycle riders were two advanced level students of Dharmapala Vidyalaya, Pannipitia. The police said that they had been admitted to the Sri Jawaharlal Hospital. A correspondent noted that the motorbike that was travelling from Pannipitia to Aravala at around 5:30 this morning had collided with the security vehicle heading towards the Moraketiya junction. Police noted that the driver of the minister's security vehicle had been arrested and will be produced before the Nugegoda magistrate tomorrow.